She arrived prepared to incite him, but Barack Obama refused the lure. He offered a smile, paused, and subsequently articulated his thoughts. In that solitary instant, composure commanded the platform and permanently remained. The event commenced similarly to any standard televised forum. Courteous smiles, friendly salutations, and the customary remarks regarding the pleasure of being present were exchanged. However, that tranquility proved fleeting. Every observer could perceive that a more significant event was preparing to develop. The setting appeared flawless. The illumination was luminous yet gentle, projecting a warm radiance across the aisle where Barack Obama and Ivanka Trump were seated facing one another. Positioned between them was the facilitator, recognized for maintaining order when dialogues intensified. The subject for the night was leadership within contemporary America. It was straightforward, yet heavily weighted. Obama appeared serene, exactly as individuals recalled him. His stance was collected, his smile tender, his gaze brimming with endurance. He possessed that understated assurance derived from years of confronting immense stress. He possessed no requirement to demonstrate anything. His sheer presence conveyed authority. Conversely, Ivanka presented herself as refined and self-assured. Her hair was immaculately styled, her delivery fluid yet purposeful. She conducted herself like an individual who had rehearsed her statements but genuinely trusted them as well. For her, this was not simply another panel discussion. It represented an opportunity to champion her family's reputation and her father's presidential heritage. The facilitator initiated the event with casual conversation. Obama chuckled quietly at a jest concerning his apparent ability to age more slowly than most chief executives. Ivanka grinned courteously, contributing that her father frequently stated the position kept him invigorated, not fatigued. The atmosphere was entirely light and agreeable initially, representing the type of discourse that maintains audience relaxation prior to the commencement of the genuine dialogue. Yet beneath those grins existed an imperceptible strain. One could perceive it in the hesitations, the manner in which their gazes connected for a fraction of a second too extensively. A shared history occupied that space. Political competition, ego, and two profoundly distinct perspectives on the true definition of power were present. The facilitator addressed Obama initially. "Mr. President," he commenced, "you have articulated numerous times regarding the significance of integrity in leadership. What does that signify to you?" Obama offered a slight nod, contemplating for a moment prior to responding. His delivery was tender yet resolute. "I believe integrity is what you execute when nobody is observing. It is how you interact with individuals who cannot offer you anything in exchange." The spectators nodded, with some applauding softly. Ivanka paid attention, grinning with that rehearsed elegance, anticipating her opportunity to reply. The facilitator then directed his attention to her. "Miss Trump, you have frequently stated your father instructed you on leadership via action. How would you characterize his methodology?" Ivanka's smile expanded. "My father trusts in outcomes," she stated boastfully. "He believes genuine leadership is not regarding lengthy addresses or flawless vocabulary. It is regarding taking audacious measures even when individuals fail to comprehend you." The statements lingered in the atmosphere, unambiguously directed at Obama's composed and deliberate governing style. Obama exhibited no reaction. He maintained his gaze upon her, paying attention, his countenance indecipherable. The facilitator perceived the parallel and leaned forward slightly. "So you are asserting that leadership is concerning taking action even if it results in being misconstrued?" Ivanka nodded affirmatively. "Precisely. Certain leaders dedicate more time conversing about cohesion than genuinely constructing it. My father does not hesitate for everyone to concur prior to executing what he trusts is correct." A hushed whisper traveled through the spectators. The atmosphere densified marginally. Ivanka had selected her phrasing meticulously, yet everyone comprehended her implication. Obama grinned courteously. "That is one perspective to view it," he stated quietly, yet he provided no further elaboration. The facilitator chuckled uncomfortably, attempting to alleviate the atmosphere. "Well, it is pleasant to possess both viewpoints here this evening." Nevertheless, the strain was already expanding. Ivanka reclined, crossing her legs, glancing momentarily at Obama with a smirk that could have signified anything. Confidence, entertainment, or defiance, she was prepared to proceed further. The subsequent inquiry struck closer to home. "What do you consider, Miss Trump," the facilitator inquired, "is the primary distinction between your father's leadership and President Obama's?" Ivanka's smile became acute. "I believe my father leads from the vanguard. He does not conceal himself behind vocabulary. Certain individuals construct legacies via addresses and autobiographies, while others construct them via action." That statement altered the atmosphere instantaneously. It was not merely a political declaration, and it was intimate. The spectators inhaled sharply, recognizing she had just launched a direct critique at Obama's life following his presidency, suggesting that his achievements were entirely verbal and lacking genuine action. Obama did not flinch. He merely angled his head marginally, observing her with tranquil inquisitiveness, almost as if he were providing her an opportunity to continue. Ivanka misinterpreted his silence as indecision. She proceeded, "It is effortless to appear sagacious when you are not the individual executing the difficult decisions anymore. My father does not possess that privilege. He confronts them every single day." The spectators became entirely silent. Even the facilitator appeared uncertain whether to intervene. For several seconds, it appeared Ivanka had conquered that instant. Her countenance conveyed everything: assured, resolute, boastful. Obama stayed motionless. There was no reaction, no counter-argument. He merely observed her, hands clasped loosely before him. Those brief seconds of quiet felt more extensive than their actual duration. The space appeared to suspend its respiration, anticipating him to articulate something, anything. However, he did not. Not immediately. He merely grinned a tranquil, perceptive smile that suggested he was reserving his reply for the appropriate instant. It was the type of smile that communicated, "You believe you have trapped me, but you have merely provided me the solution." The spectators were unaware of it yet, but that quiet endurance was the tranquility preceding the tempest. Obama was not disregarding the slight. He was preparing the platform. And when he eventually elected to articulate his thoughts, he would invert the entire dialogue. The strain within the broadcasting room expanded akin to a hushed tempest. What had commenced as a tranquil and respectful dialogue was currently laden with unvoiced defiance. Ivanka had articulated her argument regarding action superseding vocabulary, and she recognized it had resonated. The corners of her lips elevated marginally, representing the type of smile that conceals both assurance and calculation. She was not completed. Not yet. The facilitator, perceiving an ember but not a conflagration, addressed Obama again. "Mr. President, how do you react to that concept that certain leaders converse regarding modification while others manifest it?" Obama released a minor, calculated exhalation. His hands rested loosely together, his delivery unwavering. "Modification," he stated quietly, "does not invariably appear vociferous or spectacular when it is genuine. Occasionally, it occurs silently when nobody is observing, in educational facilities, medical centers, or minor municipalities. Leadership is not merely what you execute for individuals who concur with you. It is what you execute for those who do not." The spectators nodded. However, prior to the atmosphere softening, Ivanka interjected again. She was not intending to allow the moment to elude her. "With all appropriate deference," she stated, her delivery tranquil but laced with something more acute. "That appears pleasant, but individuals do not survive on vocabulary. They survive on outcomes. My father constructed entities, genuine entities, commercial enterprises, employment, opportunity. He did not merely encourage optimism, he generated it." The facilitator glanced at her, then at Obama, uncertain if this was veering excessively into antagonism. Obama exhibited no reaction. His immobility caused the atmosphere to feel even more constricted. Ivanka misinterpreted his silence as vulnerability, as indecision, and that was the moment she resolved to apply more pressure. She crossed one leg over the other and gazed directly at him. "You are aware," she stated. "Certain individuals assert leadership is regarding elegance, but elegance does not settle the invoices. Perhaps that is why so numerous individuals felt abandoned during your tenure in office. You articulated beautifully, but where was the genuine modification?" The spectators whispered. That statement resonated deeply. It was not merely a critique of policy. It was intimate. She was assaulting his standing, his heritage, even his bond with everyday individuals. She was challenging him to reply. Obama remained silent, his gaze locked upon her, his countenance indecipherable. For a fleeting moment, the quiet almost made it appear she had struck a sensitive area. Ivanka, perceiving a benefit, continued. "You are aware, Mr. President, it is effortless to appear tranquil and sagacious when you are removed from the limelight, when you are not the individual executing the difficult decisions. My father does not receive that privilege. He does not get to merely converse regarding optimism. He must provide it." Her statements were acute but fluid, enveloped in a delivery that feigned reverence while slicing profoundly beneath the surface. She pivoted toward the facilitator with a boastful smile, as if to convey, "I have conquered this segment." The facilitator released a nervous chuckle. "Potent arguments from both parties," he stated, attempting to alleviate the instant. But nobody was paying attention to him. Every gaze was fixed on Obama. Everyone desired to witness how he would respond. He did not. Not immediately. He appeared contemplative, almost entertained, similar to an educator who just listened to an assured pupil commit an error in the classroom. He shifted slightly in his chair, remaining tranquil, remaining collected. He did not hasten his vocabulary. He was selecting them meticulously, anticipating silence to perform the labor for him. Ivanka observed, and for the initial time, a spark of doubt traversed her countenance. The quiet was enduring excessively long. The smile she displayed began to resemble a facade more than assurance. She was unaccustomed to being encountered with immobility. She was accustomed to rapid counter-arguments, swift interactions. Obama's quiet caused her statements to reverberate back at her, more heavily than when she had articulated them. Eventually, he inclined forward marginally and stated in a hushed, steady delivery, "Ivanka, you referenced outcomes. You are correct. Outcomes hold significance. But what variety of outcomes are we discussing?" His delivery was tranquil, yet there was firmness within it. A leader can construct edifices, launch workplaces, generate financial gains. But if those outcomes merely benefit a minority, is that leadership or simply self-interest disguised as accomplishment? Ivanka attempted to reply, but Obama did not cease there. "You stated your father constructed entities. That is accurate. But genuine leadership is not regarding constructing entities for yourself. It is regarding establishing confidence. That is something currency cannot purchase." The spectators applauded softly. Ivanka's smile wavered. Obama's statements were fluid, unhurried, yet each one possessed accuracy, akin to a slow blade slicing through static. Then he paused again, granting her room, just sufficient to believe she could recover. She aligned her posture, angling her head marginally, and replied, "With reverence, Mr. President, perhaps individuals are fatigued by ethical sermons. They desire action. My father acts. That is why individuals adore him." Obama grinned faintly, almost benevolently. "And that is why they dread him as well," he stated quietly. That solitary statement altered the atmosphere within the room. Ivanka blinked, surprised by the unanticipated response. Obama did not sound furious or emotional, merely factual. His tranquil delivery caused the statements to resonate more profoundly. Ivanka attempted to dismiss it with laughter, but her vocals emerged weaker than previously. "I would not assert dread, I would assert reverence." Obama nodded gradually. Occasionally, it is difficult to distinguish the difference when authority becomes the exclusive objective. The spectators whispered again, the momentum shifting toward him. Ivanka parted her lips to articulate but discovered no vocabulary that would not appear defensive. For the initial time, her assurance faltered. She glanced toward the facilitator, but he was observing Obama currently, as if he additionally desired to witness the direction of this discourse. Obama did not apply further pressure. He reclined and stated quietly, "I comprehend loyalty. I revere family. But when your loyalty prevents you from articulating the truth, even to your own kin, that is not fortitude. That is capitulation." The room became silent. It was not the quiet of bewilderment or tedium. It was the quiet of comprehension. Ivanka's previous critique currently appeared insignificant compared to what he had just articulated. Obama did not grin or boast. He merely observed her with tranquil compassion, as if he desired her to comprehend rather than experience humiliation. But Ivanka's composure had fractured, and although nobody articulated it audibly, everyone observing recognized it. This dialogue had just aligned in his advantage. The tempest she had initiated was commencing to redirect toward her. The atmosphere within the broadcasting room felt dense, almost burdensome. The gentle drone of the illumination above was the exclusive sound occupying the extensive pause between Ivanka and Obama. She had been assured, certain of her position, but presently the quiet was extending further than she had anticipated. The immobility of the individual seated opposite her was deeply unsettling. Obama did not appear furious or offended. He merely appeared enduring, and that endurance was more disturbing than any outburst could have been. Ivanka shifted marginally, manipulating the hem of her garment, attempting to recover that fluid composure she invariably maintained publicly. She grinned faintly, representing the type of smile that communicated, "I remain in command." But internally she could perceive it, that gradual, creeping sensation that the room was eluding her grasp. The facilitator, desiring to advance the proceedings, articulated carefully. "Let us redirect this to leadership," he stated. "Both of you have articulated regarding fortitude and outcomes, but how do intimate principles mold those outcomes? Can family impact the manner a leader executes decisions?" Ivanka interpreted that as her signal. Her stance aligned, and she swiftly recovered her delivery. "Certainly family molds leadership," she stated with certainty. "My father is the superior illustration of that. Every action he executes, every selection he finalizes, is for his family and for the nation he cherishes. He is directed by loyalty to his populace, to us, and to his personal convictions. That is what renders him a formidable leader." She glanced at Obama while she articulated, almost challenging him to contest her. But he did not. Not immediately. She proceeded. "It is an attribute I have invariably respected regarding him. He does not segregate the intimate from the governmental. His family is his bedrock, his inspiration." That statement, she pondered, sounded effective, rehearsed yet potent. She anticipated applause or at minimum a gesture of reverence. But conversely, Obama gazed downward for a moment, almost as if pondering something silently. When he directed his gaze upward again, his eyes connected with hers. And an alteration existed there, a tranquility that possessed gravity. "Family holds significance," he stated quietly. "It molds our identity. I comprehend that." Ivanka grinned marginally, interpreting it as concurrence. "Precisely," she stated swiftly. "Family provides intention to every action we execute." Obama's subsequent statements, however, altered the entire atmosphere of the room. He inclined forward marginally and inquired, almost excessively casually, "Barron is your son?" It was not loud. It was not severe. It was quiet. But it resonated with a power that could be perceived throughout every section of the room. Ivanka's smile solidified. The spectators became completely motionless. Even the facilitator appeared uncertain if he had perceived accurately. The quiet that ensued was acute, awkward, similar to a cable drawn excessively taut. Ivanka blinked, perplexed for a fraction of a second, prior to releasing a quiet, clumsy laugh. "Pardon me," she stated, her vocals merely a fraction more elevated than previously. Obama did not reiterate the inquiry. He merely observed her, his countenance tranquil but indecipherable. She swiftly recovered, dismissing the instant with a rehearsed elegance. "Negative," she stated, continuing to grin, although her delivery was weaker currently. "Barron is my sibling. I believe everyone is aware of that." Obama nodded marginally, the edge of his mouth elevating. "Certainly," he stated quietly. "It is merely that you articulate regarding family as though it is one solitary buckler that shields everyone surrounding your father. I was merely questioning where that buckler ceases." Ivanka attempted to reply, but the vocabulary lodged in her airway. She experienced an unusual warmth elevate within her torso, partially annoyance, partially bewilderment. She was unaccustomed to being surprised in this manner. Attempting to recover command, she stated, "When you mature in a family similar to mine, loyalty is paramount. You do not segregate your identity from those you cherish. That is what maintains your fortitude." Obama grinned again, a perceptive smile this instance. "I can revere loyalty," he stated. "But when loyalty commences to supersede truth, it transforms into something entirely distinct." The spectators whispered softly. Ivanka's countenance constricted. "I am uncertain what you are suggesting, Mr. President." "I am not suggesting," Obama stated tranquilly, "merely observing." He paused, allowing his vocabulary to settle. "Your father previously articulated something during a discussion, something regarding how intimate he was with you. Numerous individuals found it atypical, but I am certain he intended no malice." Ivanka's countenance became rigid. She parted her lips to respond, but the vocabulary failed to materialize. Obama's delivery had remained entirely steady, respectful even, yet the underlying significance was unambiguous. He was not assaulting her directly. He was illuminating the awkward void between ego and repudiation, the concepts articulated and unvoiced within her personal family that had invariably trailed her in murmurs. She compelled another laugh, but this instance it did not sound genuine. "I do not believe that is pertinent here," she stated swiftly, glancing toward the facilitator. "We are present to converse regarding leadership, not intimate jests extracted from context." Obama nodded, his delivery continuing to be tender. "Certainly," he stated, "but is it not intriguing how the intimate and the governmental invariably navigate their path back together, particularly when we demand they should not?" That statement resonated more profoundly than any direct affront could. It was courteous, even benevolent on the exterior, but it provided Ivanka no space to respire. She had constructed her defense upon family ego, and Obama had just converted that bedrock into an inquiry of parameters and truth. The room remained silent. Recording equipment operated. Every countenance within the spectators was fixed upon her, anticipating her subsequent action. Ivanka inhaled deeply. "My father cherishes his family. That is not something I will ever express regret for." Obama nodded again, his countenance continuing to be tranquil. "Affection is never something to express regret for," he stated quietly. "But occasionally affection renders individuals sightless. And when that lack of vision impacts an entire country, then it ceases to be affection. It transforms into something else." An immobility existed following that, a prolonged, burdensome quiet that appeared to exert pressure on everyone simultaneously. Ivanka gazed downward momentarily, then upward again, her countenance collected but ashen. She desired to respond to him. She desired to articulate something astute, something to redirect the instant back to her advantage. But for the first time, her vocals refused to collaborate. Obama remained reclined, articulating nothing further. The inquiry continued to linger in the atmosphere akin to an apparition. "Barron is your son?" reverberating with a significance vastly more profound than the vocabulary itself. And within that quiet, it was unambiguous to everyone observing. The equilibrium had altered entirely. The quiet that ensued was similar to a prolonged exhalation that never concluded. Nobody articulated, nobody coughed, nobody ventured to shift. The gravity of Obama's inquiry, "Barron is your son?" continued to suspend in the atmosphere, entwining itself around every intellect within the room. Ivanka could perceive every cardiac pulsation reverberate within her torso. Her rehearsed assurance, the refined tranquility she donned akin to armor, had fractured. She attempted to occupy the quiet with a smile, the variety that previously alleviated strained gatherings or awkward discussions. But currently, the smile appeared fragile. Her intellect sprinted for an escape route. She had confronted critiques previously, severe discussions, governmental controversies, rumor publications, but this was distinct. Obama's vocabulary had not been malicious. They were more severe than malicious. They were hushed, and hushed vocabulary, when timed flawlessly, possessed the capability to demolish everything. The facilitator's gaze darted between them, but he additionally did not articulate. Even he appeared confined within the gravity of the instant. Recording equipment continued to operate, capturing every subtle change of emotion that traversed Ivanka's countenance. Bewilderment, annoyance, and that subtle trace of apprehension that emerges when you recognize the potency of silence. Obama remained motionless. He did not incline forward or backward. He merely anticipated. He had comprehended extensively in the past that quiet could accomplish what arguments failed to achieve. Expose reality without articulating another syllable. The 31 seconds extended. Every second felt similar to a complete minute. Ivanka parted her lips once, but no noise emerged. She closed them again, gulping heavily. The assurance that had occupied her delivery previously currently felt strained, lodged profoundly, secured behind ambiguity. Eventually, she managed to articulate. "I believe," she commenced, hesitating for respiration. "I believe what I intended previously was that family provides leaders their intention. It serves as a reminder of who they are advocating for." Her vocals quivered marginally on the final syllable. She recognized it, and so did everyone paying attention. The tranquil cadence she was renowned for had disappeared. Obama nodded benevolently, as if recognizing her endeavor. Then, in that identical hushed delivery that compelled individuals to incline forward to perceive him, he stated, "Intention is beneficial, but intention devoid of accountability can be perilous. It causes individuals to believe they are correct merely because their intentions are pure." Ivanka blinked, her countenance becoming rigid. "I do not believe that is what is occurring here," she replied, attempting to locate her stability again. "Perhaps not," Obama stated, "but that is the hazard when authority and family merge into identical entities. You commence defending your reputation more fiercely than your country." That solitary sentence resonated more profoundly than the preceding inquiry. There was no fury within it, no incrimination, merely reality presented so distinctly it was impossible to disregard. Ivanka's hands contracted upon her lap. She desired to shield herself, to inform him that she had constructed her personal reputation, her personal vocation, her personal accomplishments. But everything she contemplated sounded defensive, insignificant, or rehearsed, and the solitary element she recognized she could not risk at that instant was to appear rehearsed. She attempted to grin again, but her vocals revealed her annoyance. "I believe my father's history speaks for itself," she stated swiftly. Obama nodded. "It does," he concurred. "That is the reason individuals continue to converse regarding it." The spectators reacted silently. A handful of hushed chuckles, not malicious ones, but the variety that fractured the strain just sufficiently for individuals to respire again. Ivanka, however, did not chuckle. She compressed her lips together, recognizing that every reply she provided was being redirected toward her. Every defense caused her to appear more insignificant. And then, unexpectedly, Obama moderated his delivery. "You are aware, Ivanka," he stated. "Occupying that limelight is not effortless. Individuals anticipate you to shield the individuals you cherish. I comprehend that. but occasionally cherishing someone signifies possessing the bravery to interrogate them. That statement altered something within the room. It was not severe. It was humane. It felt similar to counsel, not an attack, yet that tenderness caused it to sting even more intensely because it was not merely regarding her father anymore. It was regarding her. Ivanka's gaze flickered downward for a moment, the initial indication of genuine discomfort. She desired to articulate something potent, something unforgettable, but her ideas became entangled. Every phrase that materialized felt similar to marching deeper into a mire. The facilitator eventually attempted to intervene, articulating with an anxious laugh. "Well, that is undoubtedly a significant amount to contemplate," he stated. "Perhaps we should transition to the subsequent subject." But prior to him redirecting the discourse, Obama articulated again, tranquilly but resolutely. "Negative. I believe this is the subject. Leadership is not an assemblage of catchphrases or edifices or financial gains. It is the manifestation of your selections when nobody possesses the capability to halt you. And occasionally family renders it difficult to perceive those selections distinctly." Ivanka remained motionless, the gravity of those statements descending upon her. Her previous vigor had vanished. Her sole recourse was to respire through the quiet that ensued, recognizing that anything she articulated currently would appear as a justification. Then arrived the most extensive quiet of all. It endured merely half a minute, but it felt infinite. 31 seconds of absolute void. No applause, no laughter, no argument. Merely silence. Unadulterated, uncomfortable silence. And within that quiet, everyone observing within the spectators and at their residences witnessed an alteration. It was not merely regarding an inquiry anymore, it was regarding reality. Obama had succeeded in accomplishing something uncommon. He had converted a dispute into a looking glass, and Ivanka, despite all her elegance and regulation, possessed no alternative but to observe her reflection within it. Finally, she released an exhalation she was unaware she was retaining. "Well," she stated quietly, almost to herself, "I suppose everyone possesses their personal definition of leadership." Obama grinned benevolently. "They do," he stated, "but solely one of them endures the examination of chronology." The crowd commenced to applaud gradually initially, then more intensely, the noise expanding akin to a surge. Ivanka gazed downward, then upward again, compelling a courteous smile as the applause occupied the room. She did not argue any further. She did not interject, because internally she recognized that 31 seconds of silence had resonated more profoundly than anything she could have articulated. And as the applause reverberated, she recognized the reality of it, that occasionally silence is not merely the conclusion of a dispute, it is the noise of an individual forfeiting it. When the applause diminished, what persisted was an unusual variety of immobility. Not the strained quiet from previously, but something gentler, similar to the atmosphere following the passage of a tempest. Ivanka remained seated there, flawlessly collected externally, yet the tranquility felt rehearsed, delicate, as if a solitary, incorrect vocabulary could cause it to disintegrate again. The recording equipment continued to operate, the facilitator's vocals attempting to advance the proceedings, but everyone's gaze persisted upon her. The dialogue had altered. The momentum had transformed, and it was undeniable who commanded the room now. Barack Obama had not elevated his vocals a single instance, had not offended her, had not even interjected her statements. But inexplicably, he had seized absolute command. Ivanka grinned that refined corporate smile she had honed over years preceding recording equipment. "I believe I have articulated all I required to articulate," she murmured, her delivery airy but cautious. She manipulated the documents upon the desk that did not genuinely require manipulation, then elevated herself. The facilitator blinked, uncertain. "Are you, departing us, Miss Trump?" he inquired. She nodded marginally. "I possess an alternative commitment to attend," she stated, although everyone within the room recognized that was inaccurate. The reality was inscribed entirely upon her, in the manner her shoulders were excessively rigid, in how her smile failed to completely extend to her gaze. She desired to depart prior to another inquiry arriving in her direction, prior to another sentence possessing the capability to dismantle her fortifications. Obama did not impede her. He merely nodded, a movement of recognition, not triumph. "Gratitude for your perspectives, Ivanka," he stated, his delivery tranquil and steady. She provided him a brief nod in response, almost automated, then pivoted to step off the platform. The reverberation of her footwear striking against the surface was the exclusive noise for several seconds. Every stride she executed bore the gravity of ego, humiliation, and something more profound, the hushed comprehension that she had been surpassed, not via hostility, but via elegance. As she vanished behind the drapery, Obama reclined in his chair, exhaling quietly. The facilitator, thankful to witness the attention shift, addressed him. "Well," he stated with a partial smile, "that constituted a significant interaction." Obama chuckled softly. "Merely a dialogue," he replied, "although occasionally dialogues reveal to us more than we anticipate." The spectators laughed, the strain alleviating. But beneath that laughter, an alternative element existed. Reverence. Individuals could perceive that they had just observed something that was not regarding politics or accumulating points. It was regarding command, composure, and reality. Obama aligned his posture, his vocals tranquil yet authoritative. "You are aware," he stated. "We entirely assert we desire reality, but reality possesses this peculiar habit of causing individuals to feel uncomfortable, particularly when it approaches excessively close to one's residence. The most difficult action is not perceiving the truth. It is conceding when it is glaring directly at your visage." The facilitator nodded. "That is a potent argument," he stated quietly. Obama proceeded. "Leadership is not regarding possessing all the solutions. It is regarding posing the proper inquiries, even when those inquiries cause individuals to feel uneasy. Particularly then." The spectators paid attention in silence. His statements were not rehearsed or theatrical. They emanated organically, yet each sentence struck with accuracy. He hesitated, appearing contemplative. "When authority is handled akin to a family relic, it ceases assisting the populace and commences shielding itself. That is the moment nations stray from their path. And reality," he stated, gazing upward at the crowd, "invariably discovers a method to guide them back. It was not an assault. It was not even aimed at anyone specifically by title, but everyone recognized who he was referencing. And more significantly, everyone comprehended the reason he articulated it." The facilitator, attempting to introduce some lightheartedness back, grinned. "You invariably possess a method of concluding matters on a potent note," he stated. Obama returned the smile, a minor, perceptive grin. "I merely trust vocabulary should leave individuals contemplating, not disputing." The spectators applauded again, more intensely this instance, not due to an astute retort, but due to the reality beneath his tranquility. It was not triumph via humiliation, it was triumph via moderation. Behind the platform, Ivanka stood preceding a looking glass, refining her cosmetics with hands that were not entirely stable. Her image gazed back at her, refined, impeccable, and absolutely depleted. She had confronted more demanding discussions, more acute detractors, but never an individual who neutralized her without elevating his pitch. Obama had not trapped her with data or incriminations. He had merely presented a looking glass and compelled her to observe what she preferred to ignore. For the initial time in an extended period, she lacked a prepared statement, an astute redirection, or a discussion topic to rely upon. The hushed reality of that instant, those 31 seconds that declined to dissipate, continuously replayed within her intellect. Returning to the platform, Obama stood, grasped hands with the facilitator, and expressed gratitude to the spectators. As he stepped away, the applause accompanied him. Not the boisterous, exultant variety, but the respectful, enduring one. the variety that signifies individuals are not merely reacting, they are contemplating. He traversed through the identical drapery Ivanka had vanished behind. The noise of the crowd continued vibrating faintly. An individual behind the platform commended him regarding the dialogue. He merely grinned and stated, "It is not regarding emerging victorious, it is regarding lucidity." Externally, the nocturnal atmosphere was crisp. Recording equipment illuminated as he departed the structure, but he did not glance in their direction. His ideas were not focused upon the dispute or the news banners that might ensue. He was contemplating something he previously articulated to an assembly of emerging leaders. If you are required to elevate your vocals to establish your argument, perhaps your argument lacks sufficient fortitude. That evening, he had demonstrated it once again. Ivanka's exit had communicated everything vocabulary was incapable of. Her quiet, her departure, her meticulously selected smile, all of it narrated the chronicle of what occurs when assurance encounters certainty and proves incapable of maintaining its position. The dispute had concluded, but the reverberation of it, that solitary inquiry, "Baron is your son?" would persist significantly more extensively than anyone anticipated. And within that reverberation, Obama's tranquil delivery would invariably endure, reminding everyone who perceived it that genuine authority is not regarding supremacy. It is regarding grace.